Hi, my name is Jeff Georgeson, and I'm with Quantum Tiger Games. I'm here today to present a tutorial on how to basically get started with the ExtremeAI personality engine. This engine allows you to basically create human-like personalities for your NPCs that grow and change over the course of a game, depending on how they interact with other characters or with players or with the world around them. If you have bought the ExtremeAI engine from Unity's Asset Store, it may have already imported that package into your Assets folder. In our case, I'm going to need to just import that from one of our own local folders. The ExtremeAI engine includes a couple of DLLs. One of them allows you to use the Unity editor to create and edit personalities for your NPCs. And another one allows you to access those characters' personalities during the course of the game via scripts, so that you can change or just even get an idea of how certain aspects of their personality, certain attitudes, are changing or growing. This particular DLL, the TAIPE library, needs to be in the same folder as any scripts that use it. In our case, I'm just going to leave it in this scripts folder we already have, but you can copy and paste it into whichever folder you need it to be in. So, also, ExtremeAI comes with the quick start guide, which is kind of what I'm going to be following to do this tutorial, and the complete user manual. So, the first thing we'll want to do, the first time you import ExtremeAI, you may need to click on the Unity toolbar, or menu bar, to get the tools menu to show up. And then you'll be able to go under that to ExtremeAI, and then that offers you several different options. For today's tutorial, we're just going to use the character editor. The character editor allows you to type in the name of a character. In this case, we're going to just choose Buttons, and then create or edit that character. You will be presented with over 30 different stimuli, or attitudes that this character will react to in certain ways, or react with. In this case, I'm going to choose to change intimidating, for reasons that will become clear later. When I go ahead and change intimidating, let's make Buttons really intimidating. What that does is go in and change the underlying personality facets, which are based on the 5-factor model of personality. And then it recalculates all of the other attitudes based on the facets you've changed by altering whichever one you were dragging along. So, in this case, by changing intimidating, I've also created a character that is not particularly affectionate, but is pretty easy to anger and pretty annoying. This is to mimic the way that an actual human personality would be set up. You wouldn't have somebody who was like highly intimidating, but perfectly average in every other kind of attitude. Your various attitudes affect other attitudes, which just kind of makes sense. In order to save this character, you would click Save Character. And if I were to go in to edit Buttons again, I could always double-click on the suggestions, and then edit that character, and it will give me the last saved version. Let's say I wanted to make Buttons just a little less intimidating, which then again changes all the other attitudes. Say I decide I didn't want to make that change. You can always hit Reset Character to reset back to the last saved version of the attitudes. Also, if I decided I didn't like buttons at all, I could go ahead and delete the character, but we're not going to do that right now. Also, you can just click Done and not choose to save any changes at all, which is what we're going to do right now. So now we've created a personality for buttons, but buttons as a character doesn't really exist. So now we're going to start to sort that out. I'm going to go into scripts and create a script in the same folder as this other library, as the DLL. In this case, I'm going to create a C# script, and I'm just going to call it NPC interface. And I'm going to go ahead and edit that. The very first thing you'll need to do is make sure that you're using the DLL in this script. And secondarily, you'll want to instantiate sort of a copy of the personality engine, or the DLL, into the script. In this case, I'm going to just copy because I'm so slow at typing. Just going to copy that in here so that you've now set up an AI character info object, which is what you'll need. In this case, I just called it my AI char. And then I'm also going to set up a string variable that is just the character's name. Make sure that you use the same name that you have in the personality that you've set up. So in this case, buttons. The other thing that you will need to do is when you start the script, you'll need to initialize AI char info. So in this case, our object is called my AI char, and we're going to .init. And in this, you will need to pass along the tag of the NPC's game object. In this case, we're going to just attach this script to that game object. So this .tag will work. And then you need the name of the character, which we've made my name. Oops. Now, I'm going to go ahead and copy again from the quick start guide. We're going to set up a little script that basically uses the debug log to let the character tell us how intimidating he feels. So I'm setting up an integer that gets a result from the AI engine. So you'd call that using whatever the name of your AI char info object is. So my AI char.ai return result. And what this returns is an integer from 0 to 4, with 0 being very, very low in that particular attitude, and 4 being very extremely high. This method call takes the, in this case, the player, which is whichever character or player that the NPC is reacting to. Since the NPC can feel differently about different players or characters, you need to include this. We're going to be using intimidating, which is what we changed earlier. And in this case, we don't want to actually change intimidating. We're just getting a number back from as to what the attitude is right now. So we're going to say false on changing it. In the debug log, we'll go ahead and print out that integer value. And then we have a switch case block where buttons is going to tell us whether he feels really not intimidating or a Robert De Niro level of intimidating. And that also will be in the debug log. So we're going to go ahead and save that. And Go back into Unity. Now we'll need to attach that script to an actual game object. I'm going to just use an empty game object for this particular tutorial. I'm going to take the NPC interface, drag it over into the game object. We're going to need to give it a tag. The tag, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be called it doesn't have to be called the name of the character. I'm going to just call it my buttons. And I'm going to go back and add that tag. And then if we run that, we're going to see the "Are you looking at me?" kind of, yes, I'm really intimidating, because that's how we set buttons up to be. Here that is actually, we can see that the value is actually 4 and the character's reaction. Now if we go back into the character editor and we make buttons a lot less intimidating and save that and then close that window, when I run it again, buttons is going to have changed completely. Now this isn't something that's going to happen in game. You'd have to change via script, you'd have to change the character a lot to get all the way to make a drastic change like that, since a regular person won't change that drastically normally. So, but what can happen is that if the character is kind of in the middle, like not these huge extremes that we've been creating here, like let's say I make buttons intimidation level like kinda low, we'll go ahead and save that. Then, like a real person, buttons isn't always going to react exactly the same way. Buttons isn't always going to be like non-intimidating, or like even, or just a little. It'll sort of vary, kind of depending on other things that are going on in their lives, that kind of thing. And so the engine sort of mirrors that. In this case, we're still shivering even to think of being intimidating. But if I keep running it, most of the time it'll be that, but then sometimes it'll be up as high as a 1, perhaps. Because we've kind of set the intimidation level a little bit higher, but not all that high. So, that's just the very basic most use of the personality engine. Hopefully this tutorial has been useful. And if you have any questions, please contact us at support@quantumtigergames.com. And we look forward to providing more tutorials in the future. Thank you.